YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. A few hours before day 2 of the NFL draft begins, I got my mock draft going through rounds 2 and 3, a bunch of picks to break down. A lot of talented players still available, and some good ones are going to continue to slide because that's just how the draft works. Follow our Twitter because we're breaking down every single pick of day 2, day 3, the rest of the NFL draft. So make sure you follow that Twitter. You see it on your screen. There'll be a link pinned in the comments and description. It's an absolute must follow. Recently uploaded grades for every first round pick. Check that out. We have a winners and losers video. Check that out. More of those types of videos to come throughout the draft and after the draft. So join us, subscribe, smash that like button. Be much appreciated. Here's the schedule. We're through Thursday. You see Friday, we did that grade video already. Now we're on to that second part. Again, going to be breaking down every pick there live on Twitter. And then tonight, still a video tonight, day 2 winners. And then Saturday, pretty much the same stuff. And then best undrafted free agency signings that we do every single year. So really excited. A lot of good players left in this draft. Some more will continue to slide. With a lot of scenarios we can go with here. I got the Jags taking Christian Barmore. I thought that was an option for them at the end of the first round where they took ETN. So they go Barmore in this situation. You know, they needed D-line and more D-line when they went into free agency. They actually added quite a few defensive linemen, but they can get better here with Barmore. You know, he's pretty versatile, can fit any pretty much D tackle. Played a little 3-4 end if the Jags do decide to go 3-4. Lined up at nose at times. I wouldn't really prefer him there though, but they'll be able to move him around a bit. I mean, they can go Moehrig or Jevon Holland as well, the safety. You know, that they can go multiple routes. Jets go Azeez Ojulari. I love the fit for Azeez Ojulari even in the first round. I guess what we heard a couple days before the draft was we knew he had past knee injuries, and I guess his knees aren't looking good when the medicals come back. They check him out, so he slid. Very talented pass rusher, very productive, and I think he kind of fits opposite of Carl Lawson, kind of fits that D Ford role for Robert Saleh there. So that'd be a great fit if he continues to fall. If the Jets don't take him, I'm convinced. I'm already that's why it's a little scary. For him to make out of the first round, there's something serious going on. So if you're at that point, do you continue to pass at him? Because it's legit at this point. But it's really going to be legit if he gets by this point. There'll be a battle for Javonte Williams, my number 1 running back in the class. I'm very confident about being the best running back in the class, even though the other ones are solid, is still on the board while the other 2 came off. It'll be a battle here. I mean, the Jets could even take him. I don't think so, but they could. Falcons, Dolphins, they will battle. Maybe there could be a sneaky team that comes up, but Falcons and Dolphins, they're going to battle it out for these guys. I didn't do any trades in this because I'm going to start creating a mess and what I've been here all day. But the Dolphins I would guarantee they're going to try to jump the Falcons here. And the Falcons may need to try to jump themselves, basically jump where the Dolphins are going to go. The Falcons may be trying to call up to the Jags, all night right now. So I have the Falcons, nobody trades. I have them getting Javonte Williams, who I think would be a fantastic back for that and for them in that scheme. The offense would be looking elite with Kyle Pitts and Javonte Williams here. But still great for the Dolphins. You get Teven Jenkins here. He was supposed to go first, even though I had him ranked on my big board around this range. Late first made sense, but it just really every mock you see, and he was going first. So plug and play guy at right tackle. If they indeed want to move Robert Hunt to guard, maybe that was smoke to get teams to think they were taking a tackle in the first when they really took Waddle, obviously. But a plug and play right tackle. Crazy that Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is still available because he's such a talented ball player, really, in general, playing the outside linebacker position and in the slot. And I guess that's why maybe he's still available. I always talk about he's the hardest guy to mock, every mock draft, because he only has a certain amount of fits. You take the 4-3 teams of the NFL, it's about half the league, and then you take the teams that are looking for this type of player and, maybe want to play that guy. Some teams just want to have a slot corner out there at all times, so they won't have use for him because it's a linebacker that can do both, I think he fits the Eagles. I know they did sign Eric Wilson, who's a pretty good coverage linebacker, but you had another outside guy here, and I think he just fits the Eagles perfectly. You just can't pass on him here, plain and simple. Quinn Miners, I think, shooting up boards because I think Landon Dickerson is falling because he's had 3 major injuries across his career. Really not a surprise that he's going to fall a little bit. He's very talented, but the injuries are a legitimate concern. The Bengals could use Miners at center or guard. In this case, probably start him at center. Panthers Panthers could use a tackle here. There's some solid ones left, but I don't know how you pass on Elijah Moore. This guy should have been not only a first-round pick, he should have been picked in the middle of the first round, in my opinion. I couldn't believe the teams that were passing on him. A big fan of him. It's a safe pick. He's going to dominate slot. He's got great footwork. He's going to get open. He's going to catch the ball. Best hands in the class, in my opinion. Very good after the catch. Panthers add him to the mix. They did lose Curtis Samuel, so that helps. It's just too good to pass. I mean, it almost might be too good to pass for these other teams drafting off need ahead of them. But there's some kind of like that. Owusu-Koramoah, it feels like too good to pass. I really would like the Falcons or the Dolphins to get Javonte Williams. But the Broncos go Dylan Radunes. There was some talk about them. They could go Kellen Mond here. I thought it was go big or go home. They passed on going big for quarterback. And that's their decision. So that's kind of my take for them with quarterback. It was you either go for the big guy or just don't go at all, basically is what I'm saying. But I wouldn't really mind Kellen Mond because I do like him. But there was some talk about them maybe taking Slater. They didn't do that, for right tackle maybe. So they get Dylan Radunes. They probably still play James at right tackle. Radunes, I've heard people like him at left, right, or even at guard. So the Broncos go that route. Maybe could grab a linebacker as well. Not so many solid linebacker fits. Some good linebackers left still, but we'll see if they view him as a fit. Next group of picks here, Lions go Terrace Marshall. They pass on taking a receiver in the first. They go Penei Sewell, but they get a pretty damn good receiver here in Terrace Marshall. Probably would have been a first-round pick, but there's some injury concern just based on the pass, but he's good to go right now. I don't really see too much of a concern there. Giants go Nick Bolton. Could go line, could go inside linebacker like I did here, or they can go edge rush, which is their outside linebacker in their scheme. So they can go multiple routes here. I went with Bolton. I think it's a solid fit here, even though he played some weak side in college. I think he fits inside for the Giants. 49ers go Asante Samuel Jr. Some talk about him going first. He didn't end up going there. I think he fits the 49ers pretty well. They get their corner, starting corner, be big time here. Cowboys grab their corner too. They got Dan Quinn in there coaching the defense, and he really liked A.J. Terrell enough to take him in the first round last year. I think Terrell a much better prospect, but you can compare these guys. I think they're pretty comparable here, but again, Terrell much better, obviously, and was the better prospect, but Cowboys grabbed their corner there. I think Campbell's going to be the better of the two Georgia corners, in my opinion. I guess it depends on the teams, but Stokes ends up with the Packers with Jair Alexander. That could work out. Jags grabbed Trevon Moehrig here, safety from TCU. Pretty good day two so far for them if they go this route because they surprised. I wasn't in love with the ETN pick, but I gave them two picks here that are realistic that they could have got one of those at 25. They end up with both of them. That'd be fantastic. Patriots could use a corner because Gilmore expiring deal. And then on the tenders, J.C. Jackson, Kelvin Joseph, I think fits a lot of upside with him. Physical man corner that could play zone as well. Chargers, I think an underrated need here because they're going to switch to a 3-4. Joey Bosa's going to play more of a 3-4 end. They need edge rush help. Nwosu, Fackrell, got to upgrade. Ronnie Perkins would love him in Staley's defense here. He does feel more like a 4-3 in the body of a 3-4, but I would really like him, in this defense here. Raiders get their safety, Jevon Holland. There was talk about them trading back, maybe taking Moehrig or Holland. They get Holland here still. A lot of talk about these two safeties going in the first. Neither went. Some good talent left here. Cardinals need their corner, Fatu Melifonwu. This is tough because the corners really started to come off the board. They may want to trade up to find a better fit because Melifonwu is physical enough to play man, but sometimes he just gets, guns it back to the back end there and allows anything underneath. So it might better fit a cover 3, cover 4. Cardinals run a lot of man, but you're really running out of options here for the Cardinals. They can make it work. He's got a lot of upside. Dolphins go Landon Dickerson, still going to need a running back. Dickerson, I think they would play at center. I think they would take the shot here on him perhaps, but does have major injury concern. Washington takes Kellen Mond. Would love that for him. I like Kellen Mond here. I think I said this even before the draft even started that it's pretty impossible to predict who's going to take these day 2 quarterbacks. It always seems to be. Somebody's probably going to trade up where they may not even need to trade up. I wouldn't mind it for Mond, but teams are probably going to trade. Look at the Patriots and even in round 1, they sat put, their guy fell to them. I think, in this scenario, guys just fall. They fall, but we'll see. Bears take Liam Eichenberg. There's talk that they really want to tackle, and they grabbed Notre Dame tackle. There was talk about him sneaking in the first. I wasn't buying that. It would have been a big-time reach. This is probably more of his range. The one thing I would worry about this if they picked him up and instantly cut Leno, or cut Leno before the season. I wouldn't really agree with that. I think Leno's much better for right now, but I think it's a realistic pick here. Titans go De'Ami Brown. They need that receiver. Thought about Rondale Moore here, but they go Brown to pair with Brown, A.J. Brown there. So that'd be fantastic for the Titans. Colts go Samuel Cosme. So tackles are looking pretty good. There was rumors that there would be a run on tackles at the end of the first round. That didn't happen really. I think they start, guys like Darsaw got pushed back. Now Teven Jenkins gets pushed back, and then Eichenberg and Cosme. These guys continue to get pushed back here. And some of them obviously gone. Leatherwood, there was a reach for him. But the Colts end up with Cosme. They got their plug-and-play left tackle there. Steelers go, they should probably look at tackles here or something else. I just prediction-wise, I think Humphrey goes around this range. Honestly, I wouldn't love it for the Steelers. They got to get their priorities right here, but I think he's going to go around this range. Seahawks go Carlos Basham. Must be a great pick. Another edge rusher there. You don't know what's going on with Alden Smith right now. And they get a guy that can start day one for them here at the defensive end position. So that'd be fantastic for the Seahawks' first pick of the draft for them. Levi Wazirike falls a little bit just because the other talented guys that are more talented end up pushing him down a little bit, but could be a replacement for Brockers here. Could move around, could play D tackle, nose tackle, so that helps them. Chiefs go Rondale Moore, some more speed there. I feel like they're really going to be on De'Ami Brown. Maybe they trade up for Brown. I think it's a perfect fit. Not that Moore's not. I like Milton Williams to the Browns. He could play D end and 3 technique. They could use both. They probably work him more as a 3 technique, but they could use him at both. That's fantastic. Saints need a corner. It sounded like they wanted to go in the first. I got Robert Rochelle. This is maybe the freakiest athlete in the entire draft. Pair that with, you can compare that with, or battle that with Jason Away. It was pretty freaky. He went to the Ravens the first. Well, Rochelle, during this offseason, it kind of felt like a third-round guy, but I'm starting to think he sneaks up in the second because the run on corners. And the Saints have specific fits, I think. Aaron Robinson may be the best one here, but do they need an outside man corner? Do they view Robinson as that? I think they view Rochelle. And they drafted purely off upside in the first. It doesn't mean at all they're going to do it again, but they're not afraid to do that here with the upside freaks and Peyton Turner and Robert Rochelle maybe. And the Bills go Aaron Robinson. Kind of compares to Tre'Davious White, I think, out of college. Is he a slot? Is he an outside? Most people probably say slot, but I think on the Bills, I think they would play him outside, and I would really like that fit. Packers go Jalen Mayfield. I think he fits their blocking scheme. I think he can play right tackle. I think he has a lot of upside at guard, and the Packers kind of have those types of guys that, they're versatile. They can move around a bit, and I can see them putting them either way. Probably right tackle, but I can see it either way. Hearing Aaron Banks can definitely go in the second round here, the guard from Notre Dame. And the Chiefs grab him some insurance in the offensive line. And then Davis Mills to the Bucks. Somebody probably trades up for Mills. Maybe it is the Bucks. But I do like Mills to back up Tom Brady there. Moving on to the third round, and we got third-round picks and third-round compensatory picks, don't forget. Pat Freiermuth to the Jags. They need that tight end. I was thinking about Tommy Tremble. I think they want more of that proven pass catcher maybe, even though I do like Tremble overall a little better because he's more complete, but Freiermuth more of a pass catcher. The Vikings got a load of third-round picks. It's like Richie Grant. They did sign Xavier Woods in free agency. He's got some upside with the Vikings to pair with Harrison Smith. But Grant, there was some talk about him sneaking late 1. The Raiders can take him in 2. I heard they like him as well. So he very well could go round 2. It almost feels like he will. I just couldn't find a spot for him really. But again, if he goes ahead of Holland, we'll say, then Holland starts. It's just really hard to see Holland slide further. But then the Vikings grab Grant, versatile safety for the future for them. I think it's a fit, just maybe too good to pass, perhaps. Texans go Tyler Wallace. This feels like a Will Fuller replacement to me. Texans' first pick of the draft for them here, so that'll be exciting. But that feels like a pretty damn good Will Fuller replacement to me. I think that'd be fantastic. Somehow De'Ami Brown's here. I got to jump all over that, in my opinion. Those types of receivers fit Deshaun Watson's game. Maybe Deshaun Watson doesn't play this year, but they plan on him being the quarterback for a long time, obviously. Falcons go Joseph Asai. I have a tough time with his evaluation figuring out what to do with him because he's an off-the-ball linebacker turned edge rusher. He still doesn't really feel like an edge rusher. Even with the guys that just switch positions, you kind of get the feeling they got upside there. They feel like they're that position. He doesn't really feel like it. I feel like he's a premium blitzing linebacker. But Dean Pease in there with Atlanta, he gets creative with that line. Those tweener type players with the blitz, just feels like a Dean Pease type of guy there. Bengals go Wyatt Davis. So now we're just loading up the offensive line here. They added their center and Quinn Miners. Now they added guard and Wyatt Davis. And it's coming together at this point. They're pretty much done with the offensive line at this point and just hope for the best there. Eagles, Paulson Adebo, so they grab their corner. They may look to grab one in round 2, which is JOK sitting there, man. Because we heard they wanted to trade up for a corner. I don't think that was the case because they traded up for Javonte Smith. Even though the corners were gone, I don't know if you trade up for an option B or C if they like the other two. It doesn't make sense to me. I think they wanted Javonte Smith the whole way. But Adebo, I think fits. They're going to run a lot of cover too. I believe he fits that. Broncos take Derek Barnes, one of my guys of the draft. I think he fits an inside linebacker for the Broncos, so they grab him. Lions take Kyle Trask. They like Jared Goff a lot. Nothing guaranteed there, so they get the insurance guy here. Pretty good value down here. Panthers, the tough thing about the Panthers, they had him passing on tackle, but it was for Elijah Moore in the second. I would rather do that. I like James Hudson, one of my guys. The only thing with him, I think I'm not a big fan of sitting guys right away, but it's one of those guys where I'm okay with it. I think he's going to have a bright future, just really, really high upside, some things he's got to work on. I wouldn't really be against him starting right away. I just wouldn't be surprised. Washington takes Walker. Little bit of concern because it's been a long time since we've seen him play. He's had injury concern, but their guy for left tackle. Lee McNeil, another one of my guys, nose tackle. Would love him for the Cowboys. Giants, I think Trey Smith fits their power blocking scheme there, and they'll plug him in at guard. Chargers, I thought they would go for more of a playmaking safety in free agency. Maybe they are, believing in Nasir Adderley perhaps, but Cisco is just a big-time playmaking safety. I think would play very well in Brandon Staley's scheme. Vikings go Deo Odangbo here, the edge rusher from Vanderbilt. I think it's a Vikings-type pass rusher, freak length, size, athleticism. He did get injured early this offseason. Otherwise, he was a guy that could sneak in first, maybe go second. Kind of like that Peyton Turner snuck in the first with his upside. Kind of like that. If he was healthy, I wonder if he would have snuck in. But yeah, I think he fits the Vikings there. I think they would take a shot at him because they have a lot of the Vikings very well. I think they look out for them to trade in the second because they got 4 third-round picks and 3 fourth-round picks. Again, I don't want to create a mess with trades, but the Vikings are a team to look out to trade in the second for pass rusher, one of those safeties, maybe a corner. Run on corners though here. Raiders 2 picks in a row. Amon-Ra St. Brown could go second round, slips through. I really like the fit with him on the Raiders. That kind of finishes the pieces for the receiver unit. Ambry Thomas, I like him. One of my guys, again, I like Ambry Thomas a lot. So much upside at the cornerback position there. Freak athlete, good in man, can play zone because he has the athleticism and the instincts there. So I would like that for the Raiders. He's not getting a whole bunch of buzz though. So the Dolphins are forced to go with Michael Carter, but in the third round, that's just fine with me. I guess the question is Michael Carter an every down back? He'd probably be split with the other guys, but he'd be their most talented back in my opinion. A lot of buzz on Josh Palmer. I think Washington would grab him, play him outside with McLaurin and Samuel are kind of inside and out guys. The Bears grab their receiver, Amari Rodgers, pure slot guy. Mooney outside guy, Robinson a little bit of both, mainly outside, so that would make sense to me. Get that weapon for Justin Fields here in the third. Cowboys grab their free safety here, Jamar Johnson, a big-time playmaker. Some character concerns could make him a third-round pick, maybe a fourth-round pick, probably not fourth. But this would be big time for the Cowboys secondary. Titans go Tommy Tremble. Some talk he can go in the second round. The best blocking tight end in the class. Sneaky good receiver. So that'd be a good pick for the Titans. Jabril Cox, another Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah type guy, so he ends up falling too as well. He's really got a fit. The Vikings could take a shot on him. Play him an outside linebacker at times, play him in a slot at times. They do like their slot corners, though, but it's not really set there, guaranteed there for them. Spencer Brown for the Steelers, upside guy. He doesn't have the best tape. He did give up a lot of pressures, but he's just that swing tackle, athletic tackle, but pretty good size that fits today's NFL. So a little bit of a project, but has a pretty high ceiling. Jackson Carman, some talk tackle, some talk guard. I think he plays tackle, maybe tackle of the future here for the Rams. Pete Werner, there's some talk that he can go a lot earlier. The Browns grab him. They showed they don't want Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I passed it on him, so I wouldn't imagine they want Jabril Cox either. So I think they're kind of picky what type of linebacker. They don't want that guy that's a coverage. They're the big time coverage guy because they want to use Troy Hill in the slot perhaps. Another pick for the Vikings, Kendrick Green, I think is a perfect fit. Outside zone guard here. They need a guard. They added Darsaw tackle. Browns get Cam Sample. They used him off the edge. A lot of upside with the two. And he had pretty good production to the Tulane defensive end. Packers, impossible to mock the Packers. Do they finally take a receiver here? Dwayne Eskridge, big playability from Western Michigan, really fast after he catches the ball. Dominated on slants and posts, could play outside. He dominated outside, but I could see him playing the slot, the next level here. Baron Browning ends up sliding to another one of those coverage linebackers. A little more of a natural linebacker than some of the other guys like Cox, though, perhaps. Bills take a shot on him. Ravens grab Robert Hainsey from Notre Dame. He can play right tackle. He also can play guard. I think that could help the Ravens. They may keep him at right tackle there. I like his tape at right tackle. There's a lot of times where he actually looked better than Liam Eichenberg, really. So a lot of buzz on Anthony Schwartz. Going to go a lot earlier than you expect because he's got tons of upside and maybe the fastest player in the draft if he figure out. He knows how to use it in the open field, of course, but we figure out how to put it all together, use the speed, learn the receiver position more and more. And the Patriots would like kind of that speed guy. Bucks go Davion Nixon, maybe getting ready for Ndamukong Suh replacement here. Pretty good pick. And then the rest of the third round, the extra picks from compensatory picks, obviously. Chargers go Elijah Molden. They probably use him in the slot. The question is, Michael Davis can play in slot, play outside. In this case, how the board falls to them. Obviously, it would probably be Harris and Davis on the outside. Saints grab the receiver, Nico Collins, big body receiver for the outside to pair with Michael Thomas. Deontay Smith, another sneaky guy here. They didn't really have the best tape, in terms of what he allowed, but pretty good technique and power. A lot of upside. He reminds me of a Tyron Smith type player, so this is kind of that guy to learn from him and kind of take over maybe in the near future. Titans go Brady Christensen. I would imagine they put him at right tackle. Could potentially play early on. Lions grab their linebacker. Chaz Surratt was a former quarterback turned linebacker. Pretty instinctive, good in coverage. Tackling, improving still. Needs to improve it more. 49ers, they don't have a lot of needs, but they don't necessarily need a safety. But I just really love the fit of Divine Diablo, and they can use him in multiple ways. They can almost use him like a, box linebacker type player. I do really think he fits. Tart, they signed for a 1-year deal, so he could replace him there. He can play multiple spots there, so I just really like the fit. Hearing a lot about Drew Dahlman going here, maybe around round 3. Really solid center from Stanford, and the Rams could use him to replace Blythe. Ravens, like I said, they could use Hainsey at guard. A lot of upside there. I like his tape at right tackle, even though I do have him with the interior, just because I think most teams would put him at guard. But in this case, I think the Ravens would leave him at right tackle. And Deontay Brown fits. It's a perfect fit with the Ravens. A lot of gap scheme. Can't even talk. Gap scheme with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Same thing with the Ravens here. So you'd be possibly a plug and play guard here in the third round. And the Saints go Marvin Wilson. I like Marvin Wilson a lot. D-tack from Florida State with the right team. Like the Saints, really good developing the interior defensive lineman. I think we can get that 2019 back out of him, which was fantastic. Pair him with Onyemata. I would love that. I think it's a really good fit. So that is rounds 2 and 3. A lot of good players. Start. So we even see in round 3 some of those linebackers that are really good. I like Marvin Wilson to some of these DBs as well, D tackles. So good, really good players still available. Thanks to those teams with the reaches and drafting off need. And I think they'll continue to fall because teams will continue to do that. They'll continue to draft purely off need. So day 2. Day 3, going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I will break down every single pick. I'll tweet about it right when it happens on our Twitter. Make sure you follow that. There's a link down below. It's at GoodHouseNFL. If you don't have a Twitter, make one. Turn notifications on. Subscribe to this channel. Turn notifications on and smash that like button. A lot more videos on the way throughout the draft, right after the draft as well. Later on Saturday, undrafted free agents. That's fun time as well when that whole frenzy goes on. And then we'll have team-by-team grades and, breakdowns like that after, next week. So really exciting time here. So hopefully you join us for all that. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.